everyone, welcome back. I hope everyone's doing well today. I'm coming on because I actually made a project that I've been actually wanting to do for a very long time, and I just finally sat down and tried it. What that is are these little cording, they call them macrame rainbows. You make them with mop cording or any other kind of thick cording. And you can use either yarn or embroidery floss or string, or whatever you have, crochet cottons, those kinds of things. The sky is really the limit. But this one, I was actually in Dollar Tree, was it yesterday or the day before? And I happened to pass by this. And it reminded me, oh, I did want to try these rainbows at some point. Why don't I just pick this up? And for $1.25, I'll just make one according to their directions and see how it goes. Well, I felt that this one, the picture of it, to me it looked kind of like skinny and skimpy. So what I did was, instead of I read through the directions, very simple. I said, you know what, let me go online and look up a few YouTubes and just see if anybody out there has a tutorial on this. And I found quite a few. So I kind of combined what I learned from those tutorials plus the directions from this little kit, and I used the twine that they provided. The only thing is the twine that came in the pack for the actual rainbow base is this skinny string here, which I didn't like. So instead of using that, I used the mop cording from one of the mops that I had gotten last year at Dollar Tree, and I bought it to do, the little stuffed sock gnomes. So I thought, well, I'll use this. For $1.25, you get all this cording. So I just clip it off. You can see where I've taken some off here. And I use this cord as the base. And then I took the twine from the kit, in this little envelope. I took this twine and I used it. And I didn't use the orange, but I used the other three to wrap around the cording to make the ring. So I have gone ahead and I've wrapped two of these, the larger and the medium, and I'm going to cut and wrap one more and show you how I did it, and then wrap it so you can see how to do that. And these two are already made, so once we get this little third one done, we'll put it together. So, okay, this one here, this is the medium size. The larger sized stripe I cut at 8 inches, and there's about an inch on each end that you leave without cording so that you can ruffle it up afterwards for the base, okay? And then this one is 7.5 inches, and the smallest one will be 7. Now, you can vary the size of your cord. You can make these rainbows a little bigger or a little smaller, and depending on the width of the cord that you buy, that will help you determine how big you might want your rainbow to be. So, okay, so here's the smallest cord. I've cut that, and then what I'm also doing is I'm taking a little bit of this floral wire, and I'm cutting that an inch shorter. So if the cording is 7 inches, I'm going to cut a piece that is 6 inches. And I'm just using this to reinforce the size of the stiffness rather, of the finished rainbow. And I suppose you don't have to have this, but it does help keep it, more stable having the wire inside there. And depending on what you're going to use this for example, if you're going to make a keychain out of it or something, you might want a heavier gauge wire to keep it more stable. I'm using this just very light gauge. I don't even know what the gauge is. I didn't write it down. But it's fairly thin. And I'll be mounting this on the front of an album, I think, so, or a box perhaps. So, it doesn't need to be super durable. Okay, so I've got my wire about an inch shorter than my cording. And I'm going to take my my yarn now and wrap it around. Let me show you what I used. And as I say, you can use anything that you would like, whatever you have in your stash. I picked up this box. I have to share this because it's such an incredible deal. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it all in frame, but this is a box of 109 cottons, and it's by the Shapiest Yarn Company. It's called Katona. It's a fairly popular brand, and this is 100% cotton in beautiful, beautiful colors. And I picked this up several years ago on clearance, of course, at Hobby Lobby. And regularly this product, here's the box, and it's just filled. You know, there's layers upon layers of yarns in here. Three or four layers worth, different colors. The regular price was $80. And when I was in there one day, I saw it on clearance for, it was either $18 or $20, and I said, well, I certainly can't leave it there for that price. So I bought one. And that's what I'm using to make my next rainbow. And I chose these three colors out of the box because I've been wanting to do some projects with a rainbow theme. And I've had this paper pad in my stash for quite some time. This is a Recollections, it's the Memory Explosion Box series that they had a couple years ago. These all went on clearance at that point, so I picked up the pad, and I've got lots of the ephemera and the other bits that go with it. But the colors are very soft pastels, and so, you know, I wanted to choose colors for the rainbow that naturally, you know, would go with the papers inside this pad. And incidentally, this pad, I love this pad. I mean, you can use it for so many different things. Birthday, springtime, you know, really anything. It matches beautifully with the Obed Marshall collections, the Fantastico and the Buenos Dias. And I just finished a rack for my sister Annette using these pads. It's just so, it's such a pretty combination. Anyway, it goes really nicely with this. So I thought, oh, why not try a rainbow theme? You know, some projects using rainbow themes. So I chose colors from the yarn box that I thought would go well with the paper pad. Okay, so that is the story behind the color selections for this rainbow. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wire, little wire here, and I'm going to line it up right along the cording. And you should have about that 1 inch left over where there's no wire. In other words, an inch here for the tail, and then on the other end another inch. And it looks like this wire might be a little bit too long. I don't have an inch here, so I'm going to clip a little of the wire off just to get it to about the right size. Let's see, here we go. Okay. All right, so there I go. Now, this is going to get covered with my yarn, so yes, it's green, but I am going to see if I can find some white florist wire when I'm out next, just to keep in my stash. Okay, so we're pretty lined up here. So now I'm just going to take my green cotton yarn. Okay, and this is how I do it. You might have a better way or another way. Do whatever works for you. I'm holding the end of the yarn against the wire, just so that I can tuck this yarn tail in as I'm wrapping. Okay, and then I'm just going to start, I'm going to pull this down just a tiny bit. Just going to start wrapping at the base of where the wire is. I'm going to cover that wire up. I'm going to wrap it a little snugly at first, and then I'm going to wrap it more lightly. But I am going to make sure that I'm filling in the cording so that the white cording, so that that white cording doesn't peek through. And I'm not pulling this super tight, although I think you could if you had a thicker cording, you could do that. Or if you wanted to use it as a keychain that where you might need more durability, you might want to pull it tighter. So in that case, I would use a thicker cord, a thicker, you know, base cord, so that you can tug it nice and tight and it won't get too skinny. But I'm just lightly wrapping this because I know I'm going to use it for, you know, just gluing onto the front of a book or a box or something. So, okay, so I'm just going to wrap along. And, you know, if this isn't your cup of tea, you can just scroll past this part of the demonstration. but I am going to just go ahead. Now you can also push these down a little bit, like if you have a couple spots where it's showing, like here, I can tuck these down a little bit more, and cinch it up so that they're covered, and I'm just going to keep going. Wrapping along, trying to keep them nice and close together until I get to the other end. A little bit further. It does take a few minutes, but you know, this is the kind of thing that you could sit down in the evening and, you know, work on it while you're watching television or just, you know, relaxing in the evening. Put everything into a little basket and go and have a seat and work on it. Okay, that's not covering up quite so well there. Push that down a bit. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going and wrapping the wire right into the mop cord as I go. Whoops, getting out of frame a little bit. Okay. Sometimes I can already envision how this is going to look on the front of an album. And then I thought it might be fun to add maybe a dangle charm onto it, or maybe glue on some little resin pieces at the base of the rainbow. Might look kind of pretty. So I mean, there's lots of different things you can do to dress it up. Okay, we're almost there, just a little bit further. Okay. Let's go a little bit more. I love this color. It's such a soft, cool green. I think it'll be perfect with that Recollections Memory Explosion pad. There we go. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now I'm at the end. I've got a little adjusting to do here, but let's push this up. Make sure that cord is covered completely. I maybe could have wound it just a little closer, but I think it'll be okay. All right, so I'm going to leave, whoops, make sure I'm in frame for you. I'm going to leave a couple inches tail there, and all I'm going to do is wrap that yarn around, and I'm going to stick it back through the loop and just cinch it up snug. My goal is that I'm going to add a little bit of glue, hot glue into this, and then I'll clip the tail off later, but that just secures it for now. I'm also going to get rid of this little green wire. And you know, you can see how a white wire really would be the best thing, but you know, I'm just using what I have in my stash currently. So I'll take my needle nose pliers, just clip that little bit of wire off. Okay, so there's my inner stripe for my rainbow. Okay, all right, so now what you want to do, move everything out of the way here so you can see a little better. I'm going to take my 3 rainbow stripes and just kind of line them up. See how I like that? That looks really pretty. Okay, so what I want to do then is I want to start, now these have the wire in there, so they're going to stay a little bit better when I bend them. Just kind of shape your outer stripe into your rainbow shape, and then you're going to take your next stripe and give it a little bend and just set it into the first one, like so. Okay. Now I can already see that my stripes are a little bit out of alignment over here. The pink one is a little bit shorter than the yellow, so I'm going to take that yellow one and just cinch it up a tiny bit. Just going to move these up a smidge. Okay, like so, just to shorten it up so that I can line that up evenly with the end of the pink stripe, like so. Okay, and the other side looks fine over here. These are both lining up together. Okay, next step, I'm going to take my green one. This is my shortest one, and I'm going to put this one in the center. going to give it a little bend. And I can see I've got to cinch this up just a little. There's a few white spots peeking through. I'm just going to slide these down a tiny bit. Okay, and then I'm going to bend this one and set it in to the center. Okay, so I want to make sure my edges line up okay. Oh, this one looks a little too long. Whoops. Pull that up a bit. Cover that. All right, let's try again. Get it fitted. Whoops. Don't like that showing. Okay. Am I in frame? There we go. You'll have to be patient with me. This is my first actual tutorial. Usually I just do project shares. So doing a tutorial requires a whole different set of skills that I think I'm probably going to have to work on a little bit. Okay, I'm going to move this down a little bit more, like this. Okay, there we go. Now I've got the ends lining up a little better. I just pushed the yarn down a little bit onto the stripe so that I could line these edges up better. So now they're all pretty even. The colors end in the right spot on each of the stripes. Now what I need to do is I need to take my glue gun, and I really love these clear glue sticks. They are fabulous and they don't show, and when they dry they're not cloudy like some of them can be. And I use this finer, you know, the thinner glue gun sticks that fit into this small glue gun. This is an AdTech, and there's a lot of nice brands out there, but that's what I use. Now, the other thing you can do before you glue this together, you can add some metallic cording or string around some of these. And for this one, let me hold it up close. I used a silver metallic, and I got it from my stash. This is these were on sale at one point down at Hobby Lobby. So I picked up a tube of them and I used the silver metallic. It's like a crochet cotton, silver metallic, to decorate that middle cord right there. So you can do that before you glue these together and give it a little extra bling. All right. So now I need to glue these together. You can start from the outside and work to the inside, or vice versa. All right, so I'm going to take my yellow strip and I'm going to use my glue gun, and I'm just going to do a little at a time, and I'm going to try and keep it right in the center. Just don't put too much because you don't want it oozing out. Stop right at the end of the yellow, and then I'm going to line up my pink stripe. Get this up close so you can see. I'm going to stick that into the glue and just hold it for a moment or two until it dries. Okay, so my stripes are flush at the bottom, they line up, and I'm just joining together the stripes with my hot glue gun. All right, so once that's holding, then you can go ahead and add some more. Now let's see, I guess I'll put it on the pink one this time. It might be a little easier to manage. So just adding that glue. I'm just doing it in sections, okay? Then I'm going to take the yellow and press it onto the glue, just like that. I'm going to lift that yellow out of the way so that I can add some more glue. I love this fine tip. It gives you a good precision. Oops, I bumped my camera, sorry. It gives you good precision when you're trying to place the glue. And again, not too much. You don't want too much glue on there. It shouldn't really be visible. Whoops, okay. All right, so now I've got the yellow in place. Now I'm going to put my green in the middle. I think I'll just put it right onto the top edge of my green stripe. Just a little bit of glue. I'll just go a little ways around like so. And then I'm going to grab it down here and join it flush to the pink stripe, right in the middle there. Well, you know, I might have put a little too much glue on this one. Let me see if I can just wipe that off. There we go. Okay, so there's that. Give that just a second to seal. And then I'm going to add a little more glue. Hopefully this is okay to see. You can see it all right. Let me hold it up close. All right, so there's the glue. Now I'm just going to adhere it to the pink. Gently and carefully. Give this a little squeeze. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. And you want to just let it dry. I mean, you know, this is only the second one I've made. I'm sure as I make more of these, I'm going to get a little more proficient, and I'm going to find some new tricks that can help me do it a little more efficiently. Okay, and then my last step, I want to add a little bit of glue onto these, you know, these ends of yarn that I have here. So I'm going to tuck this glue gun underneath. Just give it a little squirt from the inside. Ouch, whoops, got some on my finger there. Okay. And the same on the pink. Just a little bit underneath. And then the green over here. Where's the end of that? Oh, I guess it's on this side. All right, so I'm gonna come underneath here. Just a tiny bit of glue underneath there. And then once this is dried, I'm going to clip off the extra wires. You can see there's a little here, and then the extra yarn wrapping. Clean it up. And then the last step would be to unravel your mop cording. So you can just unravel it. You can also take like an old pet brush or a comb, anything you have laying around, and you can fluff these up even more by running a comb or brush through them. You know, I like them kind of wispy like this, so I didn't run a brush or comb through these at all. I unraveled them and then I just left them kind of fluffy looking. But I think this is going to be just adorable. And I love the color. And I'm already thinking, yeah, I'm going to put some charms hanging from here. You know, once I trim, and I'll trim up the edges with my scissor too once I get it all finished up. And then I will get started working on some of my paper crafting to adhere this onto and use it. So I'm really excited about that. So I hope that this was, you know, fairly easy for you to follow. And if it's something you've been thinking about trying, it's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So I'm having fun making these, and I hope to make some more. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you back again very soon for more project shares and maybe another tutorial at some point. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye for now.